Alright, welcome back to the discussion for 10.5. 10.5 is on the inverses of matrices and matrix equations. If you go further into math, into calculus, past calculus, there's a course called linear algebra that deals with a lot of weird things that you can do with matrices. This is kind of the introduction to that, but you can do a lot of it, a lot of stuff in calculus with matrices as well. So let's take a look at a few questions in here. Let's start with number one. Number one asks you to find 10.5. Asks you to find the inverse of a function or a matrix, which is 2, -9, 1, -4. So we're asked to find the inverse, which is just that matrix with a little -1 up top, right? That's our notation. And there's a nice cheaty way to do that with a 2x2. I'll show you both ways. The cheaty way, the nice, quick, easy way, if you can remember it, is to switch those two along the diagonal. So the -4 comes up, the 2 goes down, and then these two over here just change their sign. So the -9 goes to a +9, the 1 goes to a -1, and you're done. That's your inverse. That's what's going to happen, right? That's the quick and easy way. If you can remember that, to switch that diagonal and then change the other guy's negative, then you're good to go. If you can't, then you do the general long RREF form of this, which is to take the 2, -9, 1, -4, augment it with an identity, which is 1, 0, 0, 1, and then perform row operations on this to get the right-hand side to be 1, 0, 0, 1. So if I were to do that, my first move would be to swap these two rows. And the reason I'm showing you this, rather than just saying know that quick and dirty little trick for the 2x2, is because that quick and dirty trick doesn't work for a 3x3, and you have to do this, right? So I'm swapping these. That gives me 1, -4, 0, 1, and then 2, -9, 1, 0, just by swapping my rows. Now that I have this 1 here, I'm going to use it to eliminate this 2. So that is to say, I'm going to take -1 R1 and add it to R2, which is, I'm going to take the opposite sign of row 1 and add that to row 2. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take -2 of those. Because -2 row 1s gives me a -2 in this first element, and then I add it to the 2 here, and it gives me a 0. That's what I want. And that'll go in place of my new row 2. My row 1 is not being affected by this, so I'm just going to rewrite it. And then row 2 is now -2 row 1 plus row 2, so -2 times 1 is -2, plus 2 is 0. That goes in place of my first element. -2 times -4 is a +8, plus -9 is -1. -2 times 0 is 0. Plus 1 is still 1, but then -2 times 1 is -2, plus 0 is -2. Right. Now I want this one to be a positive one, so I'm just going to multiply everything in this row by -1. I'm going to cheat and not rewrite this whole thing. I'm just going to say bam, positive, bam, negative, bam, positive. Right? So note that I did that second. I multiplied this by -1 right here. But now I'm going to use this one to eliminate this 4. And I'm going to do that by taking 4 row 2s and add that into row 1 to become my new row 1. And not mess with row 2. So row 2 is 0, 1. Yeah. And then row 1 is 4 row 2s plus row 1, so 4 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is still 1. Great. 4 times 1 is 4, plus -4 is 0. Fantastic. That's what I was searching. That's what I wanted to do, is get an identity on the left-hand side. 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. And then 4 times 2 is 8 plus 1 more is 9. And look at that, this right-hand side is, I erased it, but it's what I got by my cheaterific method. Right? Great. So that's the 2 ways of doing this. Take your pick. The first one's probably quicker and easier, but you do have to remember it. So, all right, let's move to number 3. I think is what I want. Yeah. So 3 is the same question, but now it's a 3 by 3. So there is no cheater method. There is, but it's so complicated. It's not cheating anymore. So we're going to go through that long method. It's going to be a kind of a process, but here we go. A is 2, 3, 1. Just kidding. 4. Negative 1, 4, 3. 2, 4, 5. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is just immediately augment this with a 3 by 3 identity, which is 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. Okay. And I'll go through that same process to get a 1 down the diagonals. Essentially I want this, what's on the right hand side, here on the left hand side, and then all of whatever happens to the right hand side, in the end, that's going to be my answer. That's the inverse, right? So I would take this row and multiply it by negative 1 and rewrite it in 1's column, and then I'll take 1 and just kind of place it down there. So I'm doing 2 things at once. I'm swapping these rows to get the negative 1 in this spot, but then I'm going to multiply it by a negative 1, so I don't have to do that in a second step. That gives me a 1 where I want it. So to take the opposite of this second row is a positive 1, a negative 4, a negative 3, 0, negative 1, 0. Okay. This guy's just moving down, so I have 2, 3, 4, 1, 0, 0, and 2, 4, 5, 0, 0, 1. Okay. Now, whenever I get one of these 1s, I'm going to use it to kill the rest of the column. So that is to say, I'm going to take negative 2 of that top row and add it to row 2, but I'm also going to take negative 2 of that top row and add it to row 3. So I'll write that here. Negative 2 row 1 added to row 2. So in this notation, the little r is the old row, the big R is our new row, so row 1 stays row 1. Negative 2 of my old row 1 added to old row 2 is now my new row 2, and so on and so on. That gives me 1, negative 4, negative 3, 0, negative 1, 0. Negative 2 row 1 plus row 2, so negative 2 times 1 is negative 2, plus 2 is 0. Negative 2 times negative 4 is 8, plus 3 more is 11. Negative 2 times negative 3 is 6, plus 4 more is 10. Negative 2 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. Negative 2 times 1 is a positive 2, plus 0 is 2. And negative 2 times 0 is 0, plus 0 is 0. Go through and do the same thing for row 3. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2, plus 2 is 0. Negative 2 times negative 4 is a positive 8, plus 4 more is 12. I lost my place. Negative 2 times negative 3 is a positive 6, plus 5 more is 11. Negative 2 times 0 is 0, plus 0 is 0. Negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2, plus 0 is 2. And negative 2 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. That was the hard one, 0 plus 1. Okay. Now, the next thing I want to do is get a 1 right here, and I can easily do that by simply taking the bottom row and subtracting the middle row. I don't want to mess with the top row, because if I do, I'm going to mess up that 0 here, right? So that's what I'll do, is I'll take row 3 minus row 2. Right? Nothing else is changing. Row 1 doesn't change, row 2 doesn't change. So I have 1, -4, -3, 0, -1, 0 for my row 1. I have 0, 12, 11, 0, 2, 1 for row 3. My new row 2 is simply 0 minus 0 is 0. 12 minus 11 is 1. Fantastic, that's what I want. 11 minus 10 is 1. That's not too bad. 0 minus 1 is -1. 2 minus 2 is 0. 1 minus 0 is 1. Right? Okay. I'm going to erase most of this in just a minute, because you can see I have very little room to finish here. But the next thing I want to do is to take this 1 and eliminate the zeros in the rest of that column. Right? So I'm going to take 4 of row 2 and add that back into row 1 to become my new row 1. Row 2 I'm not going to play with on this move. And then row 3, I'm going to take -12 of row 2 and add that to row 3. So if you need any of this, pause the video because it's going. Okay. So I'm not playing with row 2, so I'm going to rewrite row 2. 0, 1, 1. -1, 0, 1. Right. And I am playing with the other two, so 4 row 2 plus row 1. 4 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. 4 times 1 is 4, plus -4 is 0. That's great. That's what I'm trying to do in this move, is get a 0 there. 4 times 1 is 4, -3 is just a 1. 4 times -1 is -4, plus 0 is -4. 4 times 0 is 0, plus -1 is -1. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 0 is 4. Right? That's row 1. Row 2 is -12 row 2s plus row 3, so -12 times 0 is 0, plus 0 is 0. Great, I don't ever want to undo a 0 that I've gotten in a previous step where I've made life worse for myself, right? -12 times 1 is -12, plus 12 is 0. Perfect, that's what I was looking for in this step as well. -12 times 1 is -12, plus 11 is -1. I love it. I've already got a 1 here, I just need to turn a positive, right? -12 times 1, -1 is 12, plus 0 is 12. -12 times 0 is 0, plus 2 is 2. -12 times 1 is -12, plus 1 is -11. Great. Now, I can quick and easy get a positive 1 here just by multiplying the bottom row by -1. So multiply this by -1, and that gives me still 1, 0, 1, -4, -1, 4, 0, 1, 1, -1, 0, 1, and 0, 0, -1, 12 to -11, right? No, it doesn't, because I didn't do what I just said I was going to do. I get 0, 0, 1, -12, -2, positive 11. Right? And then I can use this 1 to eliminate the 1s above it. It's nice that they're all 1s. So I can take negative row 3 and add it to row 1, negative row 3 and add it to row 2, and I will be done because I will have my identity on the left-hand side. So, the bottom is 0, 0, 1. negative 12, negative 2, 11. Negative row 3 plus row 1, so negative 0 plus 1 is 1, negative 0 plus 0 is 0, negative 1 plus 1 is 0 as well. Great, that's what I want. Positive 12 and negative 4 is 8. 2 and negative 1 is 1. Negative 11 and 4 is negative 7. Negative 0 and 0 is 0, negative 0 and 1 is 1, negative 1 and 1 is 0. Positive 12 and negative 1 is 11. Positive 2 and 0 is 2, and then negative 11 and positive 1 is negative 10. Holy crap, we're done. It'll be amazing if I didn't make a mistake. Maybe I should check it just because it's very easy to make mistakes, but I'm going to throw this in just to see. I have 8, 1, negative 7, 11, 2, negative 10, negative 12, negative 2. You'd think I would just pull up the answer and I would have cheated from the beginning, but I didn't. So I threw in my answers. Let me submit this homework. And I got an F because it's the only one I did, but I got 9 points. Bam, that's gloat-worthy, no mistakes. So, is it easy? No, it's tedious, it's long, it's hard, but it's worth doing. It'll make life easier for you in a future math class, that's for sure. So, at any rate, hopefully that helped. Hopefully I didn't bore you all to death. I was close at one point, but we made it. Thanks, we'll see you for the next one.